where are you from originally?
I'm from Pasadena.
And what high school did you go to?
I ended up going to a school not in Pasadena, but in the Humble area,
Yeah.
Summer Creek High School.
So why didn't you go to school in the Pasadena area?
So I moved away from Pasadena, I guess, my 4th grade year. So my mom married my stepdad, and his kids lived in the Humble area, and so it was just, kind of halfway closer, so that way he could be with them, and yeah, so that was pretty much.
What was your life like growing up in elementary school and middle school and high school? What was your interest?
Sure. So I've always had an interest in art and drawing. So I've always been drawing. I always had an interest in animation. And so actually my first major here at SAM was animation. And I ended up switching that to multi-platform journalism just because I realized that the animation program here, although I knew going in it was 3D animation, I just didn't want to spend a whole lot of time at the computer modeling. I was really interested in drawing.
So why did you choose multi-platform journalism rather than drawing or art in general?
Sure. So I did end up keeping an art minor. So I have a 2D art minor. And so all of my classes that I took previously before going into journalism, I got to keep those credits. So, but I picked multi-platform journalism because it was the broadest, of course. So I was able to experience different aspects of journalism, and also because it was just something that I didn't have to spend a whole lot more time here at SAM in order to complete the degree.
So are you wanting a job in journalism, or are you hoping to do something with art? What is your career path going to be after Sam Houston?
So I do still have a passion for art. It's just not something that I see as a career necessarily. I do enjoy drawing still and making art. As far as journalism goes, if I were to get into the field after I graduate, it would be in broadcast.
Okay.
So being on camera and announcing the news, I think that would be the most involved as far as being able to experience my degree in the fullest, just feeling like I'm a part of the production.
Do you feel like broadcast is something you really want to do? Is it something you're passionate about, or is it something really outside of your comfort zone?
So it's not outside of my comfort zone necessarily. I do enjoy being on camera and making videos and speaking and making scripts and and reading my script and delivering those lines. But I do think that I'm more inclined to go into like human resources because I love to help people, and so I think that is going to be probably my career path.
So outside of school, what is something that you like to do? What are your hobbies?
Sure, I like to run. I haven't been able to in a while, so I'm trying to get back into that. But I also am making music, so I plan to drop an EP soon with a few songs on there, and yeah, try to get that going.
So what made you want to go into the field of music? What made your interest in music so important?
So my dad has always played guitar, so I've always been around music. He's always had an interest in music, and so he's shared what he likes. He's always introduced me to new artists and new genres of music, and so I've always had, growing up, a desire for to be into the music field. And it wasn't until recently, maybe a year or two ago, when I actually got a guitar and I started playing around myself and experimenting with the guitar, that I decided that I wanted to do something a little more creative and produce music.
So you mentioned that your parents are separated.
Sure.
Has that impacted you in any sort of way in your life that's been good or bad?
Well, my parents were divorced ever since I was maybe 2 or 3. So for the most part, it's just been that way. So it's pretty normal for me. And I probably didn't experience any, negative effects. of the divorce until maybe my college, my college years. Just thinking, you wish things were a certain way, or maybe have wanted things to go a certain way, but I don't have any, I don't know, of course it wasn't my decision, but I don't have any regrets. I don't have any, bad feelings towards the divorce anymore. I've gotten over that.
But your family is something that you're very close to, so is it hard to balance both sides of the family?
Sure. So that's definitely the one thing. Again, it's always been normal to me. I'm either going to my dad's or going to my mom's. But, I mean, whenever I go to Pasadena, where both sides of my family are, I have to decide who I'm going to spend time with. And I might not even mention that I'm going to Pasadena if I'm just visiting my dad's side of the family. I won't mention it to my mom's side.
Okay.
Just because I know I'm like 5 minutes away, but I'm just not going to hit them, and go to each house. That's
just figuring out your time with each side of the family.
Yeah.
And so going back to your life, do you had siblings, correct, right?
I do, yeah. I have one half-sister who's older than me, and then I have a half-brother who's younger, and then I have 3 step-siblings.
So for you, were you able to look up to them in any way or influence them in a certain way at all?
Sure. So my older sister is in the Army, and this is a small influencer. It's more so that my dad was in the Marines, and my grandfather was in the Navy. I'm actually considering going into the armed forces and entering the Navy myself. So, but my sister, she's really strong. She's a strong person. She was a correctional officer at a prison here in Huntsville. She does weightlifting. Again, she's in the Army, so she's very tough. She's very passionate about serving and not being, scared or afraid of experiences that people might be, shy about.
So I know that you said that you wanted to go into human resources, and now maybe just the Navy. So where does this act of service come from? What makes you want to help others and serve others?
Sure. So I'll backtrack just a little bit. So I mentioned that my mom, married my stepdad, of course. At the time that they had gotten together and were dating, my stepdad was going to this church in the Sagemont area of the Houston area. And so we would go to this church, every Sunday pretty regularly, Christmas and Easter, of course. And then we stopped going to church for a while, and it wasn't until my sophomore year where my mom and I decided, okay, we're going to start going back. And so we started pursuing our faith a little more seriously. And you mentioned the acts of service. So I do believe that Jesus is God, and I believe that he is the example, the ultimate example of how we should live our lives. And so I'm very passionate about emulating that and being a reflection of who Jesus is. And so wanting to serve others, I think, is just integral in all of that.
Is there anything you're doing now that's helping others in that form or getting you prepared to do that role?
So I do help out with a local church here in Huntsville. I help out with the preschool, and so just being able to be an example of patience and of virtue for younger people, I think it's very important. Also, to involve yourself with older people is important too. So I do help out with some older ladies that I visit. If they need things done around their house, or Christmas is coming up, I'll put up a Christmas tree for them. Just being able to hear somebody's request and to be able to do that, to meet the need, I think is important.
Yeah. Speaking of young people, what was it like for you in high school? I know you told me that you did theater, What made you want to go into theater? What were your other extracurriculars that you did in high school that you were involved in?
I seem to always have like a battle of two passions. That's a theme, I guess, that I've noticed within my life. When I started high school, I did start with cross country, and so that was my extracurricular activity. And I did that for a semester, but at the same time, I was also getting a part in a couple of plays within the theater department. And so I had to decide which path I was going to go down, and I decided to go with theater. And so I pursued theater throughout my high school career up until my senior year. I didn't participate in my senior year. We had a change in directors, and so that was a little, painful, I guess you could say. But yeah, I love theater. I loved being able to be on stage and to operate as a unit with other actors, and the tech side of it as well. I thought it was a lot of fun. We got to travel, we got to meet new people, and so that was exciting for me.
What made you want to come to SAM out of all the schools in Texas or anywhere you could go? Why did you choose Sam Houston?
Sure. So my older sister actually was attending SAM at the time where I was looking into colleges. So I was thinking, this might be a school to look into. So I was looking into their animation program at the time, and they had a pretty good program. And so I didn't really look anywhere else. I decided to apply to SAM, and that was pretty much why I decided to go here.
And what has your college life been like since you've been here at SAM? What are things that you're interested in, and how do you like going to SAM?
I think that I've enjoyed more so just becoming my own person throughout my college career. It's I haven't, if you focus too much on, I guess, the education, I think you lose the value in networking and meeting new people and just growing as an individual. So that's something that I've really enjoyed, seeing myself experience and being able to meet new people and share experiences with them as well.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned since you've been at Sam Houston?
I would say to keep your mind open, because coming in here, I thought I was going to do something completely different with my life than what I'm thinking now. Also, meeting new people, like I mentioned, hearing different viewpoints, and just not knowing where the opportunities are going to lead you, I think is important.
Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to see where you end up, and I can't wait to see what all you do for our country.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And next week, you're going to watch and learn a little bit more about Javon Leon, the Sam Houston State football player.